Hey, good Monday morning, my friends, and safe travels on this New Year's Eve day and New Year's Eve. We do have a storm system. We have a snowstorm for the northern part of lower Michigan. I call it a snowstorm for this time of the year. Let's give you the short story. It's a 3 to 6 inch snow in most places in about the northern, maybe we better call it just slightly less than the northern half of lower Michigan. Show that to you in just a moment here, and let's get to it. First off, where are the advisories in effect? Winter weather advisory in all of these areas, which means that the storm is not expected to widespread eclipse 6 inches of snowfall. And in the Grand Rapids area, in Muskegon, into Gratiot County, you're under the winter weather advisory for this morning, maybe a 2 hour period of freezing rain before it changes to rain. So that's the winter weather advisory there. Otherwise, it's mostly for snow, except for also another area of more persistent freezing rain, center part of the state. I'll detail that for you in just a minute. Hey, Happy New Year to you also, Sarah Ann Wells. Here's the leading edge of the precipitation moving northward. And again, we'll have to look at the surface map to figure out what's going to happen. 32 in Grand Rapids right now, 34 in South Bend. I lost it there for a moment. 34 and rain there. 34 in Milwaukee. Looks like 34 and raining at O'Hare. But 28 in Saginaw. And notice the dew points. See Alpena 24, dew point of 19. Drier air in here, and that can keep the temperatures colder as the precipitation starts. So it's got to be kind of a little bit on the touchy side. It could be freezing rain in the Grand Rapids area here in the next couple of hours. It would be short-lived for about 2 hours or so. So here's the radar forecast, and we're at 9 o'clock this morning. 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Freezing rain, hope not in North Branch. Probably not in North Branch. This is noon, so the rain's starting to come on, and I think this might be a little slow based on what the radar looks like. Hey, Amy Mogg, hey, from Mount Pleasant. You might have some freezing rain, so let's get into it. This is 2 this afternoon and 3 this afternoon, and you see where the rain-snow line is setting up from around Ludington, across Houghton Lake, across to the Tawas area. South of that, we're into rainfall. Mount Pleasant, Clare, have to kind of watch that a little closely. Now we're at 4 o'clock. 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Can you see what's happening? The rain-snow line is staying very steady. How much rain expected in Ann Arbor? I would say probably over a 1/4 inch and probably not a 1/2 inch, something like that. So solid snow. Again, Ludington, Houghton Lake to close to the Tawas area. Yes, rain in Lincoln Park, Cindy Ray. Probably no problems there weather-wise. Okay, now we're into 9 o'clock this evening and 10 o'clock. And the rain-snow line starting to inch southward, coming toward the Tri-Cities, toward Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, with maybe a mixture there. Snow, northwest half of lower Michigan. Grand Rapids, you get into the back edge of this, but there's going to be so little left that you're probably talking an inch or so. And southeast lower, Ann Arbor, Detroit, Lansing, this is midnight, so no major problems there as you're still staying above that freezing mark. Okay, snowfall totals. This model only goes out to midnight, but here you can see southern lower, nothing. Grand Rapids, nothing through midnight. Saginaw, not much. North side of Bay City starting to accumulate a little bit. And then here's your area. Ludington, Manistee, Benzie County, Traverse City, Mansalona, Gaylord, Grayling, over toward Alpena, Sheboygan, Rogers City. We'll call it a 3 to 6 inch snow with isolated pockets at 7. And yes, it will be a heavy wet snow. So the TDI, Toregrossa Drifting Index, probably will not be real significant. The last 2 or 3 inches of it falling up here could blow on a northeast wind at about 20 miles an hour, but nothing that's real significant. Dora wants to know Midland. I think you're looking at maybe 2 inches in Midland, and that would be late tonight and tomorrow morning. Good morning, Cass City. Let's look at the model that goes out further, maybe not as high resolution, but it's got about the same thing. From Traverse City to Gaylord over toward Alpena, 3 to 6 inch snow, and southern lower, not much at all, maybe a dusting to covering the ground. All right, so there's that storm. Let's see what's going on now with the rest of our weather. Cold air is going to move in for a day. Then we get back into this westerly flow, and that's the main thing I want to emphasize is that we have a fairly mild pattern for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying it's not going to be cold and you're not going to need your jacket, but for this time of the year, fairly mild. A lot of 33 to 42 degree high temperatures across all of lower Michigan. Okay, so, and again, thanks for joining me. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Toregrossa. Thanks for joining us on the MLive Morning Weather Update. We do it every morning about this time, 8:15 to 8:30ish. So hit the share button or make sure to watch for the update if you're concerned about the weather. Here's the American model. We'll go into Thursday. We're back to a west-southwest flow. Look at where our air is coming from. We follow these contours. It's coming out of the west-southwest. You don't get real cold with that. Next storm system scooting off to our south. And look, even the northern edge of it doesn't have really a snow shield on it. That's rare for first week in January. Usually the northern side is packed with snow. Now we're into early next week, still quiet. There's maybe a system coming up early next week for some snow quick movers. And look, we're already back into a southwesterly flow. That's the main point I want to get out in this, is that over the next 10 to 15 days, southwesterly flow is going to come back every couple of days. That's a southerly flow right there. You don't get real cold on a southerly flow. Climate Prediction Center, I'll leave you with this. This is the 6 to 10 day forecast. I don't like that they call it the Climate Prediction Center. Go off just for a moment here, because they also issued the 6 to 10 day, 8 to 14 day, 3 to 4 week forecast. I don't call that climate. And when people hear Climate Prediction Center, they think, oh boy, here we go. Government agenda, global warming, yada, yada, yada. Well, this is actually a daily forecast, okay? 6 to 10 day forecast, above normal temperatures, normal to below normal amounts of precip. 8 to 14 day forecast through January 13th, above normal temperatures, normal chances. Then the Weather Service thinks we're going to do the flip-flop. This is their new 3 to 4 week forecast, January 12th to 25th. They forecast a chance of below normal temperatures in the eastern half of the country, but still dry conditions. What happened to the polar vortex dropping down and bringing us cold in the last half of January? Still there? It is there, but I think this mild flow is the other part of it, the El Nino. And remember, I talked about that too. Will this cold air be able to be robust when it comes down, or will it be modified? So take, for example, we're dumping cold air into the area, which the experts that look out long distance think that we will go into a colder than normal pattern. But if you put that mild Pacific air into it, it's probably just going to be slightly colder than normal, maybe averaging a degree or two per day colder than normal, not significant, and it might be short lasting might be a 2-week cold snap, and then we go back to normal, to slightly warmer than normal. My thinking is now we're going to have some rough weather at some point in Michigan, but my thinking is now it's going to be a 6-week winter, and I don't think it's going to be extremely bad. That does not take out the possibility of one major blizzard. Again, I always want to come back to 1978 on this. 1978 was very much like this, quiet until the one blizzard, and that was pretty much the winter. For snow lovers, there's definitely still hope, but right now, the next 2 weeks, I would call it more of a mid-March or maybe like a late November type weather pattern. We'll just keep you updated on that. Be careful tonight on those roads. The main problem, northern third of lower Michigan from Mount Pleasant, Houghton Lake northward, you got yourselves a solid snow.